Lynn to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'll join us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome. We need to start with a roll call. Ms. Harris, will you help us with that?
Councilmember Lynch and Councilmember Kirk are both excused, but we do have one.
Thank you. We have an agenda before us. Is there any changes to that agenda we need to consider before we approve it? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling.
I'll second.
Mr. Sellers seconding. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. We'll go to the City Council minutes for January 2nd. Any concerns? Or?
I do.
Okay.
I'd like the council comments to reflect that the issue was not addressed about the truck parking. It was addressed to information provided to new council members on previous issues, previous and current issues that occurred before our tenure.
How will we address that in the minutes? I guess.
Just add it to.
Okay. We can make that addition. And we will go on to the work session minutes for the 9th. The 9th? Yes, the 9th. Any discussion regarding those minutes? If not, we'll acknowledge those as they've been prepared. And we'll go on to the bills. We've got a copy of the warrant register there. Questions? Mr. Sellers with the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Welling seconding. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. Council comments. Mr. Lynn, lead us off.
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Welling.
Just, there's Brad. Thank Brad and his crews for the great job of removing snow from the streets. It was, you guys worked some long hours this weekend. We appreciate it. Many citizens are very appreciative. Heard a lot of good comments, so thank you. If you'll pass that on to your crews, you guys work some.
He hasn't even had time to shave.
Yeah, it's been out on that plow. So other than that, I don't have anything else.
Mr. Sellers.
So we have an opportunity to use our voices as citizens right now. The comment section for the BLM, what the BLM is trying to do to our public lands in southwest Wyoming, the public comment goes through tonight. I'd encourage you to read it. The federal government, the BLM is trying to push to do a lot of things that will close a lot of our public lands to that we won't be able to use them, including closing like a third of our roads, limiting grazing on cattle, and taking a lot of our recreation areas away. Mining is included, yes. So take the time, go out, look at BLM, Rock Springs, Wyoming office, and then our RMP, and push on it, and it'll put you to a link. And you got to do more than just say, I don't agree with, there's 4 plans. There's Plan A, which is do nothing. Plan B is what the government is proposing they do. Plan C is kind of open it up to everything. And Plan D is a combination of C, the C and B. So it's kind of more of a compromise. But you need to, if you go in there, it'll bring it up and it'll let you read it. In section 1, as you read down, there's a list of things that they're proposing to do. You need to address one or more of those specifically and why you don't feel like you would want it or what you would want. So I'd encourage everybody to do that. It's opened up worldwide, so people from other countries are making comments of what's happening to our lands. So we need to make our voices heard. So that's what I have tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Hagan?
I completely, what he said, and go and educate yourself and make your decision, because it affects our state, and we need to let our voices and our opinions be known more than any other. And the other thing was to echo what Councilman Welling said about the snow removal. And excellent job, guys. And remind everybody to take not only their vehicles, but their trash cans off the streets and let these guys work more efficiently as well.
Thank you. Well, I'll just simply say amen to all of that, and we'll move on. We have no public hearings or special orders. We do have one consent agenda item, a limited malt beverage permit for a Winterfest event. Is there anyone here wanting to address that issue at all? Ms. Lark, do you have anything you want to say about this event, or you don't have to if you don't want to? I just
I'm on the project
Oh.
board, and it's a great event. It's Winterfest. Come bring your families, ice skate, cross-country ski. We have cowboy curling, deer sled pull race, great food, and the proceeds go to the Bear Project team.
nice.
What is cowboy curling?
Cowboy curling is just what it sounds like. It's curling, except for we use real brooms and weights. It's like these kind of weights.
Okay.
Hey, all right.
So, and it was a ball last year, so they have
Cool.
a full tournament.
So you're pushing kettlebells on the ice? Is that what you're doing?
Well, you push it with a broom.
With the, all right. I'm just gonna have to come see, huh?
You'll have to. And I'm sorry I wasn't prepared, but
Oh, you're fine.
yeah, okay.
February 10th.
Yep, February 10th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Is there a motion on our consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Welling, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Lynn seconding. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. We'll go on to unfinished business, and we'll start there with ordinance 2306. Mr. Harris, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance 23-06, an ordinance of the City of Evanston, Wyoming, amending Section 12-1, definitions of the city code to mirror the language of the state statutes for the definition of a street or highway. This matter is before the council on third and final reading.
And there's been no change in the wording of the document since first reading. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, that is correct.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2306 on third and final reading.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling.
I'll second.
Seconding. Any discussion on the motion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That passes on third and final reading. We'll go on to new business, and our first item there is a motion for a request by APE Wyoming LLC for an extension of the time period in which the business or enterprise of APE Wyoming LLC is required to become operational. Come forward, sir, and if you'll give us your name and address and tell us what we're considering here.
311 West 18th West 18th Street, Cheyenne. Sorry. We are requesting for an extension for a liquor license, an additional year as we build on new property. We anticipate breaking ground March, April, obviously with weather pending. But if everything goes well, we'll look to be open in the first quarter next year. The good thing is, our Cheyenne properties, we're building one there and we're building one here. Is that one we had to do from the ground up? Like, put the infrastructure in here. There's already infrastructure in the ground, so it's just basically building the facilities, which should go a little bit quicker. So that's kind of what we're anticipating. I know from my talking with Pete, I know we're working on the development agreement with the city of Torrington. So,
Excellent.
any questions?
Any questions? I don't think I have any. I think we've been visiting with you folks for a long time, and we want your operation to be successful. Entertain a motion to approve this extension.
Make that motion.
Mr. Sellers? Mr. Welling seconding. Is there any discussion?
Just excited to see you guys break ground.
No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. Thank you, sir. Resolution 2403, I almost said Mr. Bowl. How to have Mr. Harrison read that title for us, please.
Mr. Mayor, I've been called a lot worse than that at home, so
I understand.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Resolution 2403, a resolution of the city of Evanston, Wyoming, authorizing the execution of a contract with Tanner Development LLC for the completion of all work required for the Roundhouse Section 4 tenant gray shell and loading facilities project.
Thank you, sir. Mr. O'Neill.
Mayor, members of the council, Rocco O'Neill, City of Evanston Community Development Department. This is the contract with Tanner Development LLC. We gave them the notice of apparent no bid 2 weeks ago, so this is the contract following up on that. Again, it's for the base bid. It excludes the parking lot, mezzanine, and mezzanine access, so it's the base bid of 2.985.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. O'Neill before we...
The mezzanine access and stuff was those things that were kind of hanging when you were talking to us last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to go down that hole again, but once we approve this, we can start talking to Tanner Development and really dig into the scope of work.
Is there introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce with a motion to pass.
Mr. Lind with a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Welling seconding. Discussion.
I understand it's needed, but I really, really think that every time something like this comes before me, it becomes imperative that we figure out a solution to employ Wyoming companies instead of Salt Lake. I understand, but where there is such a discrepancy in the amount of Wyoming versus Salt Lake corporations, there has to be a solution in that. And I know you agree with that too, Rocco, so I really hate it when I have to do this.
Just to address that a little bit, definitely agree we need more Wyoming GCs.
Absolutely.
But there are local subcontractors on this project. I've spoken to a couple of them who are eager to know what city council's thinking on this project and if the contract's approved. So you'll see several local subs on the project as well. So yeah, we don't get the GC, but we get a lot of other stuff work. So. And the project at the end will employ local people here in town, will be direct towards the roundhouse, and so there's ongoing economic benefits outside of just the construction.
I want it all. I want it all for Wyoming, and I want it all for Evanston.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
members of the council, Council Member Hageman, Two things. The conditions, the general or special conditions of this contract do require Tanner to notify the city of its subcontractors. And the city of Evanston can object to subcontractors are listed. The other thing is that the public works statutes have been changed to put an emphasis on hiring Wyoming subcontractors. So that is, it doesn't guarantee 100%, it doesn't guarantee any percent, but there are provisions that require notification of subcontractors, and the intent is to try to hire resident Wyoming subcontractors for the project.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
Just a couple of days, I know you guys may get asked this while you're walking about in public. Date of commencement, it's listed here as 30 days from the date of contract signed. And then we have here in your contract, substantial completion 180 calendar days from the date of commencement. So, a little bit longer timeline than
Thank you. Any further discussion? If there's none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Rocco. Resolution 2404. Mr. Harris, read that title for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Resolution 2404, a resolution of the city of Evanston, Wyoming, authorizing the execution of a contract for services with the Evanston Rodeo Series, a Wyoming nonprofit corporation.
Them. Thank you.
This is a resolution for the rodeo series. You remember, last year they were unable to hold the event because of the bleachers going up. And we agreed to hold back their last payment and move it to this year. So the contract is a little more for $13,500, which includes their $9,000 this coming year and the $4,500 on that.
We held up from last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I did ask John Dance to come, so you can ask questions about the rodeo or whatever else.
Mr. Bounds, anything you want us to know before we move on with this? I think I'm sold, but I don't know about everybody else.
If you don't have any questions.
Do you have anybody have any questions for Mr. Bounds?
No, I personally think this is a great thing for Evanston. I think there's been a lot of young men that have started with this. In fact, I was channel surfing on Sunday, and lo and behold, there's Colton Copeland.
Yeah.
He took third place in Vegas and qualified for the $1 million thing in Louisiana. And I'm pretty sure Colton started with the Evanston Rodeo Series. And there's been other young men that have started their rodeo careers in events similar to this. And I think it's important, especially for local kids that want a rodeo. So appreciate all your work you do.
We do have 3 weekends that are secured this summer. We're going to start June 14th and 15th, and then also June 28th and 29th, and finish up on July 12th and 13th. We're in the process of securing our spot contractors, announcers, firemen, all of that right now. It's all being processed. The sponsors that we have contacted so far are excited about it coming back. The lack of not having it last year was, I'm not going to say devastating, but impacted.
Difficult,
A
sure.
lot of our retail people, and so they're excited to see it come back, bring people back into Evanston for the activities.
Excellent.
Any other questions? Thank you.
I'll entertain an introduction on this resolution.
I'll introduce the motion to pass, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling with a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sagaman. Seconding. Any discussion? There's no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there any opposed? That is approved. Thank you, sir. Resolution 2405. Mr. Harris, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Resolution 2405 is a resolution of the governing body of the city of Evanston, Wyoming, officially designating Uinta Bank, Wells Fargo, First Bank Evanston, State Bank, and Bank of the West as a depository for monies of the city.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Lim?
So we do this resolution usually every year. This year, we're doing it because we're going to add State Bank to the list. And then, as Mr. Sellers pointed out to me earlier, do we need to change this from Bank of the West to say BMO?
We will.
So we'll have to make those corrections for those of us that have already signed. I guess that's the next thing, but we'll cover that when you, okay,
But we'll change it on this resolution.
okay.
But these are the banks that basically deposit checks and cash.
And we try to spread that business out as best we can across the community. We want all our banks to be successful, so.
I'm excited that you added State Bank since it's locally owned, operated, owned by local people. That's, I think that says a big statement.
Is there introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce the motion to pass.
Sellers? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Lynn, seconding. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye. 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 Are there any opposed? Thank you. Now, our last item is a motion to accept the financial disclosure statements.
Yes, and on those disclosure statements, I also have Bank of the West. Can we just toss them out for BMO? So this is a requirement we have every year. Mayor and council and myself and Diane all have to sign this conflict or this financial disclosure just to say that yes, we have accounts basically with these banks, and so does the city. Just
Okay.
to disclose it.
And if we move on this tonight, knowing that obviously Mr. Lynch and Mr. Perch are not here, can we approve theirs? Then they sign them when they're available too. Can we do that? Make it simple for them? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept these disclosure statements from
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling. Is there a second? Sellers, Mr. Sellers seconding. Any discussion on the motion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That is approved. Thank you. Comments from departments. Ms. Lim, while you're walking across there, anything more from you tonight? Okay. Mr. Tolleson, representing Public Works. Anything from you tonight, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Larson?
No, except for thanks once again for the snow removal. You guys rocked it over the weekend.
Nice, they did, yeah, yeah. Mr. Newsom, anything from you tonight?
In the few coming weeks, we'll have a couple subdivisions that we'll be reviewing. The one on Prospect Way with the gaming. And then the development by Mr. Ellicourt up on Cheyenne. So that'll be forthcoming, and we'll work through that. The low bids for the City View, the Whiteout project, were open last week, and the apparent low bidder was Lewis and Lewis out of Rock Springs. And so, Transportation Commission thinks Thursday should be awarded, and then we'll be able to look for getting that City View section done this coming summer.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yay. Yay.
Appreciate that, Mr. Newsom, thank you. Mr. O'Neill?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Chief Ranish, do you have anything for?
Yes, sir, I just want to thank the community and everybody for all the support they give their family
Oh.
and what's recently happened, and meant a lot.
Nice. Well, we've been thinking about you, many, I suspect the entire community has, so it's a tough situation. You guys showed us how to handle it, so thank you. Ms. Harris, you have anything for us tonight? No. Mr. Harris?
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Public participation. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the council for any reason? If not, we'll adjourn.